Okay, so welcome to Crypt Talk Podcast. So this one probably is going to be kind of long, honestly, because I got a lot to cover. Um, but I'm known for some pretty long videos, right? So let's go ahead and do this one. Things are kind of lining up. I tell you the truth, I'm kind of exhausted physically, so I've been doing a lot of running around or whatnot. But I'm not really sleepy, but you could probably hear my voice that I am kind of a little exhausted. But anyway, so I'm reading the Bitcoin Standard, which I've been reading the last week or so. And I get a phone call and I answer the phone. And while I have the phone in my hand, I decide, well, let me check Coinbase to see, what the prices of cryptos are right now. So I know Ethereum's been going up, and other ones, Bitcoin and whatnot. So when I'm checking it, I decide to go and check some of the stories as I typically do. See what kind of stories are going on, what's going on in the world of crypto. Just so happens the top story when I checked it, Bitcoin is a way to repair economic injustice by author Isaiah Jackson. The stars are lining up pretty dope right now. I can't lie. A lot of people have been reaching out to me on various platforms, social media wise. A lot of engagement and assistance from people who tune in to Crypt Talk. We're gonna go ahead and let's call ourselves Crypt Talk Nation. You know, because I have a lot of people that's I build with, I network with, that I consider friends and allies in this crypto experience. A lot of people have taught me things and helped me learn by either straight teaching me or leading me to places where I can learn. I got the development coming, learning the coding, the Solidities and the Python and the JavaScript, um, boot camp and all that kind of thing. So it's kind of like things are just lining up so awesome. So when I see the top story happen to be about economic injustice, Bitcoin in Black America, written by the author that's coming to Crypt Talk podcast Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 o'clock on the East Coast. It's like, wow, the stars are just aligning. Because in actuality, the story that I really planned on doing and covering, I planned on covering this story right here. I had this key queued up. I was going to cover this story right here, which is from February, 10 Reasons to Read Bitcoin and Black America by Isaiah Jackson. And I was going to cover this story as well because this is the Twitter CEO pushing Bitcoin's benefit for Black America. But now I have to do this story. Maybe I'll get to those stories. I'll just cover them real quick. How about that? So Bitcoin is a way to repair economic injustice, author Isaiah Jackson. Last week, Minneapolis police officers killed a 46-year-old black man accused of buying cigarettes with a counterfeit $20 bill. By the way, just for the record, it wasn't even counterfeit. Ongoing protests has erupted across the country condemning police brutality and systematic racism. So I typically don't speak about these kind of things, but it's related to Bitcoin at this point. And guess what? I'm not going to ignore the topic. I can't afford to do that as a black man in America. I cannot afford to ignore the fact that disproportionately, yes, there is police brutality and systematic racism because I live it every day. I could tell you stories that you probably wouldn't believe. A lot of people wouldn't be able to relate to. But what I will say is this in regards to the protests that have been happening, it is good to see that other people are getting involved. It's good to see that. It's good to see that we have reached at least a generation where there's enough people who aren't falling for the media narrative of what black people are like. They're not able to use that because we're detached from mainstream media, especially people that's in the crypto, because we already know mainstream media is fugazi, just like we know that the central banks and the Federal Reserves, we're the woke, if you will, of the economic and technological community because blockchain technology, cryptocurrencies, just the way that it even developed in the first place and the purpose that Bitcoin was created was to actually free the working class and to be able to hedge our economic situation versus the central bank because Bitcoin was born out of a recession in which The corporations got a bailout, and the average working class didn't. It was born out of the need to be able to get off of that system and take full control of our money. So just the spirit of that attracted me when I learned about what this Bitcoin and this blockchain was. I have an activist background to do some self what do you call that, I don't know, self disclosure. Yeah, I have an activist background. I've been part of different things in my community. I actually, real story, I actually helped get a law passed in the state of Washington that allows us to hold police accountable for misconduct. It was a 3 year struggle. I didn't head the actual project. No, a good brother by the name of Gorgeous Dre. He goes by Andre Taylor. That's his given name, but he goes by Gorgeous Dre. He was in a film called American Pimp, and he's done a lot of other dope things with all kinds of stuff. He actually spearheaded it. Matter of fact, he texted me last week to go down to the protest that was last weekend. So, my background in activism, I won't say background because I consider myself an activist. If you deal with Bitcoin, you're an activist to some level. So that now hedged with Bitcoin, you think about the current economic situation going on. Yes, the underlying issues of the protest definitely is racial injustice. Definitely that. But now we have not just black people protesting rightfully, righteously, but you also have a lot of other communities that are also coming not just to the aid of black people, but are also disgruntled and dissatisfied with the current situation as well for good reason. When you have a bailout that gave 1,200 measly dollars to the working class and trillions to corporations, when you're in a situation when 40 million people are out of work right now, a good half of those jobs aren't coming back. Not only that, there's probably going to be even more unemployment. And once this stock market bubble bursts, which it will, because ironically, as most people are struggling or having to budget very carefully, the corporations and the stock market is doing great. And you would think, well, how can the stock market do great when 40 million people are out of work, when we have depression level unemployment? How the hell is the stock market doing good? When you got businesses closed down, whole industries been closed down for months now, how is the stock market doing so great? Well, because they've been interjecting money, they printed out of thin air, and a lot of the stimulus that the big corporations received, they bought back stocks with it. So that's something that it should enrage people. People should be outraged by that. We know that we have a media that doesn't tell us the truth. That's why a lot of people go to the internet for media now. Whether that's good or bad. The most watched and trusted media platforms, they're no longer on the TV. And I don't want to get political as far as partisan wise. I really don't. Democrat, Republican, whatever. Personally, I would say just go with your own best interest. But I don't even want to speak about politics like that. I don't have anything against Trump as you know policy wise. However, the fumbling with this COVID situation put everybody in danger, not just because we've lost over 100,000 deaths in the United States, but the economic situation is demolished at this point. And we have to keep it real, he's divisive. But I don't care who you vote for, if you support him or not. I really don't care. But what I'm saying is, because of all of this perfect storm that's happening right now, and then the injustice underlining issue, which really set it off. That was like the match on a gas soaked bale of hay. And now it's on fire. Pun intended or not, doesn't matter. You know what I mean. So because of that, people are actually coming together right now, which is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So one of the things that is heavy in the situation is the economics, because everybody can relate to economics. Everybody can relate to having to feed their family and pay bills, because statistically they say that a majority, this is sad, a majority of people don't have 400 or 500 bucks for emergency. That's scary right there. That's actually frightening. Now, more than likely, if you're dealing with crypto and Bitcoin, you probably do because you understand the importance of investing. So, like, back to the stock market situation. Yeah, the stock market is rocking right now. That's cool. I have stock. I deal with stocks. You know that. Most people don't, though. I would say proportionally, probably more people that are in crypto deal with stock. But even if they don't, they deal with crypto, and that's an investment as well as a medium of exchange, as well as technological developments going on in the blockchains. But most people, as you know, aren't familiar with cryptocurrency and do not deal with stocks. So there's a perfect storm of dissatisfaction growing in America, and there's a good reason. And then when we look at the element of blockchain technology, let's compare that, because what's one of the reasons why we love this blockchain and these decentralized cryptos? Because they're just that, they're decentralized. No central point of failure, no central point of authority, no permission needed to do what you want with your own money. It's freedom. It's in itself a rebellion of sorts. It's in itself a protest of sort. Matter of fact, yeah, I watch other crypto channels out there. I was watching the Bitcoin Express, and it just so happens that a couple people who I know, uh, including Isaiah Jackson, was on there, and I didn't get to catch the whole thing because I was actually busy and I had to go, but I tweeted it out, watched a little bit of it, and I noticed that they were speaking of that, the protest that Bitcoin is just by being what it is. You've been seeing it in high profile people sharing information. We saw the J.K. Rowling situation. A lot of the stories that I've already covered on Crypt Talk podcast itself. I know I'm supposed to be speaking about Bitcoin and Black America and all that, but that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to. You know how I do, man. If you listen to Crypt Talk, you know how I do it. But I've covered stories with Arabian Prince, one of the founders of NWA. He's doing a deal with Lime Juice on the gaming side of it. Akon, building a crypto city, also has a crypto coin called the A coin. Spencer Dinwiddie, all-star point guard, New Jersey Jets, Brooklyn Nets. You know, I believe he tokenized his contract. I don't think they allowed him to do it, but that's what he was trying to do, right? What else do we got going on? Bill Gates himself said that Bitcoin can close the wealth gap. You know what I'm saying? It's huge. You got Jack Dorsey, big Bitcoin dude. You could use Cash App. You could buy Bitcoin on Cash App. And I'm going to tell you the truth. That's probably the best way to buy your Bitcoin. It's the best value. You use Coin Mama. Coin Mama, she's a pimp. Like, she'll hit you from both sides. Yeah, and it's not. Yeah, you know. There's other spots too. You can get it from Coinbase as well, and they're kind of expensive too, but it's easy and convenient, especially for new people. So what I'm saying is, there's so much going on in development. Elon Musk is a crypto dude. So right now the rumbling is there, and as all these things are going on, as you have Ashton Kutcher, who gave a donation to Elaine DeGeneres of I think $2 million. He used Ripple to do so. He did it live on television, but they never really. You would think that would have been a big deal. So that's why even in my byline of my Twitter handle, my Twitter page, it says bringing news about cryptocurrency and blockchain technology that you won't see in the mainstream media. Dot dot dot. Yet, because it's coming. Facebook Libra's dropping in August if they drop on schedule. The Fed coin, they're developing on that. They're not going to get it done. I don't think they'll get it done by the first of the year, next year, like they said, but they're working on it. So we know it's going there. We know that there's a battle going on right now between some of these centralized coins to come and the decentralized coins that are already here, the lack of media coverage of the mainstream versus those of us who have our own individual platforms, not corporate sponsored. We might get some sponsorships here and there or monetized channels or whatnot, but we don't have somebody sponsoring telling us what we have to speak about. So all of these kind of things, is just kind of bubbling, if you're paying attention to this, it makes a lot of sense to continue learning this and the fundamentals of it. And I'll say it again, like I said it before, most of the cryptos are garbage, but we know that there are some that aren't. Anyway, I'm kind of, getting off subject, but so a part of the conversation taking place in the streets, over the airwaves, in people's homes is that economic inequality is what separates Black Americans from the rest of the nation. In Minneapolis, for example, the median income for Black households is $38,200, less than half of their white counterparts. Like everywhere else, the protests are also a divisive issue in the crypto ecosystem. There is, however, a general agreement that there is no easy technological solutions to the larger problems plaguing the nation. While naive claims that Bitcoin fixes this are outwardly derided, Isaiah Jackson's book title, Bitcoin in Black America, is gaining traction. The mantra painted on signs seen in Rawlins, North Carolina, and across Twitter feeds promises nothing but contains a kernel of insight. Speaking of which, there was a man in a protest for George Floyd, justice for George Floyd, and yeah, justice for George Floyd, um, was asked on live TV what would he say to the family and to America, pretty much. What he said was, of course, he said condolences to the family and all that, and it's, racially unjust system. But he said the macro solution, in his opinion, was to bankrupt, and I'm paraphrasing, the central bank Federal Reserve system, and we can do that by massively opting out of our banks and acquiring Bitcoin. Epic. They panned right away from him after that. Like, yeah, that's enough. That's enough of you. Why did they do that? You already know why they did that. I've been saying this on Crypt Talk podcast since I started it, because these mainstream media outlets are sponsored by corporations, and indirectly because of that, central banks. They have the most to lose, not the corporations, but the central banks. So actually, corporations, they don't mind adopting it. When they find something that works, they don't mind doing it. You see some of these billionaires, these free billionaires, the ones that can move how they want to move. They'll tell you crypto all day. You would think that alone would put it on the mainstream more, but it won't. A lot of us have we know that a lot of these people that are against Bitcoin actually have Bitcoin. Like, we're gonna cut the crap. I mean, we have J.P. Morgan Chase the whole time, the last decade, how terrible Bitcoin is. It's just for scammers. It's a scam. Now they're like, yeah, we're bound down to the blockchain, because they understand that they have no choice. So epic times that we're living in, you guys. It's epic times in many kind of ways, man. Be not afraid. Be brave. Speaking of brave, I'm on the brave, and that was a pop-up right there. So let's go. Jackson, founder of KRBE Digital Assets Group and the author of Bitcoin in Black America, thinks that Bitcoin can play a crucial role in addressing economic disparity in Black communities. I'm not going to read this whole thing because I don't want to spoil it, because I'm going to be having them on, Monday, and I just want to have a good organic conversation. I mean, I've been waiting for a conversation like this. I can speak about crypto all day. I love to learn, and I think I could learn from that. And I encourage you guys to tune in, even if you're not Black. Tune in, man. We're gonna have a good conversation. We're gonna do it via the Zoom live. Get the chat room filled up. Subscribe if you're watching this and you're not subscribed yet. Subscribe and hit the bell for that reason alone. And we have other interviews coming up. I say we because Crypto Talk Podcast is not just me. It's the audience, the loyal audience, that encourages me. It's people like Credit Express, Grit Grind Gold, John Walsh, others that have been on the podcast and have helped me learn and have actually helped my channel grow because I made some dope connections before I even had 10 subscribers. That's why, in part, I'm at where I'm at. I happen to think that I have something pretty epic and the stars are aligning and it's going to be off the chain, and I want you guys to experience that with me. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I'm at about 30 minutes, and that's way too damn long, for way longer than I wanted to. Go. Oh, we're only at 20 minutes. Okay. All right, cool. So, 10 top reasons real quick as we end it, just so I can highlight this. I might go into it in more detail in a different um, video that I'll do before he comes on the show. So Bitcoin is considered by many to be the wave of the future. That's one of the 10. There aren't enough black people participating in cryptocurrency. I agree with that. It is written for black people by black people. We call that FUBU, for us, by us. It offers a simple, straightforward overview of what Bitcoin is and why it's important. It focuses on solutions, not problems. That's gang. It offers an alternative to traditional banking systems that discriminate against black people. Y'all, quit bullshitting, black people. Learn about this crypto stuff, man. I'm telling you. Like, whatever, though. I mean, I'm trying to tell you, man. This is something this is where it's going. It's what it is. Let's see. See, look at that. Bitcoin isn't going anywhere. Huh? It clears up misinformation. It has been endorsed by Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey. Why is that an important one? Oh, because he's a multi-billionaire genius, multi-entrepreneur, tech, what I'm saying? Yo, Dorsey's one of my dudes. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the ones that I like to watch those interviews and study how he thinks and what he's doing, because I think he's pretty dope. He like Elon Musk or whatnot. You know, Nipsey Hussle, of course. He was into crypto too. Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, he was. Jackson is all about sharing the wealth. There was an affiliate program available to earn money by selling his book. I notice it says was. We have to talk about that. We'll have to talk about that. Anyway, man, I don't want to make this too long, but I want you guys to like. I want you to subscribe if you're not already. I want you to comment. Get those comments filled up so we can get the algorithms up. Subscribe and hit the bell. Be in the building 4 o'clock Monday. Set your reminder. Do what you got to do. If you can't watch it live, watch it later, man. And maybe we'll do a call in where people can call in, or maybe we'll just keep our eye on the chat room in case people are chatting, or maybe we'll even invite somebody on, other people to join. Who knows? But we're gonna have an epic conversation, and Crypt Talk Podcast will continue to grow with your help, and I appreciate you guys. So yeah, 4 o'clock Monday. Bitcoin Black America author Isaiah Jackson. He's a pretty cool dude too, by the way. So make sure you guys are in the building, y'all. Peace.